Okay, we're live. We're live.
You want me to start?
Yes, please.
Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dahite Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dahite Gokula Taruni Mandala Mahite Gokula Taruni Mandala Mahite Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dahite Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dahite Damodara Raji Vardhana Veshe Hari Nishkuta Brinda Vipineshe Damodara Raji Vardhana Veshe Hari Nishkuta Brinda Vipineshe Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dahite Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dahite Rishabhanu Dari Navashashi Leke Lalita Saki Guna Ramita Vishake Rishabhanu Dari Navashashi Leke Lalita Saki Guna Ramita Vishake Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite Karanam Karumai Karanambarite Sanaka Sanatana Bahanita Charite Karanam Karumai Karanambarite Sanaka Sanatana Bahanita Charite Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite Karanam Karumayi Karanambarite Sanaka Sanatana Bhanita Charite Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, O Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, O Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Jaya Radha, Damodara Radha, Damodara Radhe, Jaya Radha, Damodara Radha, Damodara Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. Jaya Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhe Radhe Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhe 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 Radhe, 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 Radhe. Jai Shri Shri Guru Garanga Kanhavika Giridhari Radha Madan Mohan Ju Ki Jai Radha Gopinath Ju Ki Jai Jai Radha Damodar Ju Ki Jai Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Astotar Shishimad Shila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Astotar Shishimad Shila Bhakti Vedanta Bhaman Maharaj Goswami Ki Jai Jai Nitya Lila Pravishna Om Astotar Shishimad Shila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Param Gurudev Nitya Lila Pravishna Om Astotar Shishimad Shila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Jagat Guru Nitya Lila Pravishna Om Astotar Shishimad Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Paramahamsa Mahabhagavat Shila Gaurikishoras Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Saptam Goswami Shila Satchidananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur Ki Jai Jai Vaishnav Sabhavoma Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Gaudiya Vedanta Acharya Shila Vishnath Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai Jai Shila Vishnath Baladevi Dibushan Gaudiya Vedanta Acharya Ki Jai Jai Shila Vishnath Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai Jai Narottam Srinivas Shyamananda Prabhu Treya Ki Jai Jai Shila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Ki Jai Jai Shri Rup Sanatan Shri Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhattadasa Raghunath Sat Goswami Prabhu's Ki Jai Jai Swarup Damodar Rai Ramananda Gaura Parsad Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Sika Holsi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Antadvip Mayapur Simantadvip Gautram Dvip Madhya Dvip Koladvip Ritu Dvip Janadvip Modum Dvip Rudvip Apakanavadvip Dham Ki Jai Bhadravan Bandiravan Beholvan Lohavan Mahavan Madhuvan Talvan Kamudvan Bahulavan Vrindavan Kadyavan Kamyavan Brajman Dham Ki Jai Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopiko Govardhan Dwarasabharmatviga Shri Brajamandal Ki Jai Shamakund Radha Kund Giri Govardhana Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Ganga Jamuna Devi Ki Jai Brihat Mridanga Ki Jai Sankirtan Yadu Ki Jai Jai Purnamasi Devi Maharani Ki Jai Vrinda Devi Maharani Ki Jai Gopishwa Mahadev Ki Jai Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakra Ki Jai Ketra Mandal Ki Jai Sarva Vigna Vanasakari Shingadev Bhagavan Ki Jai Bhakta Prabha Shri Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai Charidam Ki Jai Sari Sampradaya Ki Jai Charya Ki Jai Akara Matraj Shri Chaitanya Mat Ki Jai Shri Keshav Ji Gaudiya Mat Ki Jai Shri Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Ananta Kota Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Samagata Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Vipas Indrivevicha Patitanam Pavnibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Oh, Namo Vishnu Padaya Gora Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Vanayati Namine Vanchakalpa Durvyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaeva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Dandavat pranams, paying my Dandavat pranams to our Sanyas Gan led today by Sripad Bhaktivedanta Tridandi Maharaj and Sripad Bhaktivedanta Vaikanas Maharaj, to Ola Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Varg, to all of the listeners of this wonderful Harikatha. Today we are speaking on verse 5 of Sri Damodarastakam, first hearing from Sripad Tridandi Maharaj. So without further ado, I will hand over to you. Oh, we can't hear you, Maharaj. You're on mute.
Thank you, Taranji. Thank you. So, Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Dadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadavaktaya Namo Namaha. I'm first of all offering millions of dandavats unto the lotus feet of my most beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Tarsara Shishimat, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And I'm offering the same again millions and millions of times unto the lotus feet of our dear most beloved Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Tarsara Shishimat, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and all our divine Upanuga Uruvarg, and all the Vaishnavi devotees of the Lord. My Dandavat pranams to all of them. Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhuvevacha, Patitanam Pavnibhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha. So just to take a single moment out, I'd just like to again present our geography for a moment. So we've been staying in Giridhari Gaudiya Math, and now we're going to travel across the Jamuna to Gokul again, to the wonderful forest of Mahavan. So this forest is in the southeast. This forest that was circumambulated, its coast is going around, is Mahavan. And within the forest of Mahavan is the village of Gokul and the village of Raval. So this is the position where we are in the Brajamandal. So it's helpful for us just to, again, regularly reorient ourselves with the different forests. You'll understand that there are 5 forests on the eastern side. It starts with Badravan, then Bandiravan, then Bailvan, then Lohavan, then Mahavan. 5 forests. This is our eternal home. So it's worth trouble and the while to commit it to memory. We can say these forests daily, and within a few days, we'll have them committed to memory. But there's a method to actually saying these forests. So we start at the top, northeastern side. We start with Badravan, and then we come down Bandiravan, Bailvan, Lohavan, Mahavan. Then we cross over the Jamuna. Then we go to Madhuvan, Talvan, Kamudvan, Bahulavan, and Vrindavan. This forest of Vrindavan is very large, and it includes Giriraj Govardhan. That's what it includes. And we keep getting this text across the screen. So after Govardhan, then we come to Kadirvan, which is a much smaller forest than Vrindavan. And then we come to Kamyavan, which is on the northwestern side, bordering Rajasthan. So those are the 12 principal forests of Vrindavan. If we meditate on these forests regularly, daily, and we start to equate the different pastimes that go on in those pastimes, it'll be very inspiration for our coming to Vrindavan by consciousness daily. So we can do this daily. We can come to the land of Vrindavan. So now we're in the forest of Mahavan, and we're going to be hearing about the extraordinary Dambanda Lila of Krishna being bound by Mother Yashoda. This is so extraordinary because it demonstrates that Krishna is only bound by love, by nothing else. It's the prem of the Brijvasis, and they have this mood of Madhya. Krishna is mine. When Krishna is appreciating that mood of Mother Yashoda, I am Mother Yashoda's son. I am Nanda Baba's son. I am the friend of Sridham, of Subal Saka. I am the lover of Sri Radhika. This Madhya, this mood of Madhya, this is a minus. This is the mood of all the Brijvasis. All the Brijvasis, they have this mood that Krishna is our love. We must protect him. This is the distinct difference between Braja Prem and Dwarka or Mathura or anywhere else in existence. It's only in Braj that they have this mood that Krishna belongs to us and we must protect him. Krishna is always being petitioned by so many sadhaks, etc., to protect them. Isn't it? We're always praying for Krishna's guidance, Krishna's mercy, like this. But the Brijvasis are never thinking like that. They're always thinking, how can we satisfy Krishna? How can we please Krishna? So even though Krishna is objecting very vehemently to being bound by Mother Yashoda today, we understand that Krishna has an agenda. He wants to steal more butter from the houses, and he has all his suckers lined up with him. They've planned out in advance. They're very meticulous, going from house to house. It's a very wonderful operation that Krishna performs because he wants to spread out everywhere in Braj. He wants to taste all the elderly gopis praying for him. So he can only do that covertly by secretly stealing their butter. This makes it so much more exciting. So he has this plan and agenda today to steal more butter and to play other games with his friends. So he definitely does not want to be bound by Mother Yashoda. So it's only by the exhaustive praying of Mother Yashoda. My Gurudev used to describe that this pastime endures for many hours. Mother Yashoda is tying all the ropes together, trying to bind him. But Krishna, Yogamaya, is not allowing that to take place. So therefore, so many ropes, piles of ropes, because all the gopis, the elderly gopis, they go back to their homes and they tie all the ropes together, etc. So they're bringing all these soft silken ropes to bind Krishna, and yet he can't be bound. But eventually, we understand Krishna sees the effort, it's called chesta, the effort of his mother. His mother loves Krishna so much, therefore it's her duty to actually bind him. It's her duty to try to reform him. Krishna is saying in a dialogue while he's trying to be bound, Mother Yashoda is binding him, because Mother Yashoda is calling him all sorts of names. She's saying, you're a friend of the monkeys. You know, you should live in the forest with the monkeys. You're a thief. You're a chore. So then Krishna retorts, okay, if I'm a friend of the monkeys, I'll go and live in the forest with the monkeys. And I'll go and find some other thieves. I'll leave your home forever. And Mother Yashoda, she suddenly thinks, oh my God, my son is so restless. He could actually do this. He would actually just go to the forest. So therefore, I must bind him in order to stop him from going to the forest also. So she wants to stop him from going to the forest with the monkeys. Because Krishna, when he's saying these things, he's saying it in a very emotional way. He can sense Mother Yashoda's complete emotion, her prem, her bhav, her mood, and Krishna reciprocates entirely with that same complete heart bhav and mood to his mother. This is not even a smell, a fragrance of impersonalism. This is complete, pure, Vatsalya prem at its highest pitch that is taking place here. This is the extraordinary pastime that this Dambanda Lila exhibits. So Mother Yashoda is now determined. She's thinking Krishna might go to the forest, and she thinks, I'll bind him for a while, and then I'll be able to keep my eye on him, and I'll carry on with my cooking, etc. And then I'll let him go once he's settled down. And then I'll breastfeed him and pacify him. Krishna has been crying out for his mother's mercy. And always, traditionally, whenever Krishna has wept about anything, Mother Yashoda has run and either suckled him, breastfed him, or given him some butter or something. She's tried to pacify him. But today, Mother Yashoda has been so angry. She's not pacifying. Krishna has never seen his mother angry like this. This is the first time Krishna has ever experienced his mother with some direct anger towards him, or it appears this transcendental, overwhelming affection that she's having for him. It's prompted by affection. It's nothing to do. It's not even in the material world whatsoever. It's only in that spiritual world. It's only in that spiritual state that she's feeling this tremendous need to bind her son for his sake. It's always selfless entirely. Mother Yashoda doesn't have a single moment thought about her own well-being in any sense of the word whatsoever. She's only thinking this dedicated Madhya, this dedicated minus. This is my son, So I am responsible for chastising him, for making him a good citizen eventually. If I don't do this, then who knows what sort of dacoit he might grow up to be. So this whole pastime is about this escalating affection between Mother Yashoda and Krishna. It's so focused on the heart of prem, Vatsalya prem. This is what is exploding, we can say, in both of their hearts. Krishna is reciprocating with Mother Yashoda's Vatsalya prem. And he's opening it out. He's making it take longer and longer and longer. So Mother Yashoda is tasting more deeply that speciality of that highest Vatsalya prem. And she's exhibiting it because Krishna thinks, today Mother Yashoda will bind me. And the whole universe will come to know that my Mother Yashoda has bound me. The whole universe will know the extent of Mother Yashoda's Vatsalya prem. Krishna wants to exhibit this also. He always wants to exemplify his devotees. So the highest devotee here in this pastime is Mother Yashoda. So he wants to exemplify her behavior, her mood, her Vatsalya bhav by being bound by her and knowing that the whole universe, everything in existence, they will all come to know of this. And we described a couple of days ago how when this pastime is going on, all of the Brijvasis, all of the trees, all of the creepers, all of the insects, Jamuna Devi, all of the animate entities of Braj are involved and are feeling sympathetic. The cows, the calves, everyone is feeling the intensity of this exceptional bhav that is welling up in Mother Yashoda's heart between herself and Krishna. And it's going to become demonstrated by her ultimately being able to bind him simply because Krishna acquiesces and allows her to bind him. When Krishna sees the extent of her energetic effort to bind him, this chesta, because the two fingers too short, we always remember, are described as chesta and kripa. Chesta means effort, the effort of the devotee to capture Krishna, and Krishna's reciprocal kripa in response to the effort. This is the sadhak. The sadhak has to have this mood that he will make the effort. He will perform the bhajan. He will rise early in the morning. He will endeavor to chant more of his rounds, etc. He will do his sevas with more intensity in order to be able to attract Krishna. We spoke the other day about this beautiful verse, Klesh Agni Shubhada. This is sadhan bhakti. Then Moksha Lakuta Krit Sudulabha. This is Bhav Bhakti. But then Prema Bhakti, Sandra Ananda Visheshatma, Sri Krishna Akashani Chasa. This last expression, Sri Krishna Akashani Chasa, it will attract Krishna. This is Prem. So the Prem to attract Krishna is going to be brought about by our effort and Krishna's kripa. It's not our own effort. What can the conditioned soul do? What potency or ability does he have to do anything really in that transcendental realm? But he can demonstrate his own enthusiasm. This utsaha, nishchaya daryat, Rupa Goswami, he mentions in this third verse of Upadeshamrita, this utsaha must be there. And we also have Rupa Goswami saying, Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavatamati Kriyatamyati Talabite Tatra Lolyam Api Mulyam Ekalam Janma Koti Sukrityena Labhyate. That by this greed, this is the symptom of Raganuga Bhakti. This is the symptom of Bhav Bhakti. This symptom of greed is not there prominently in Vaidhi Bhakti. In Vaidhi Bhakti, it's simply submission out of fear to the rules and regulations. I'm feeling if I don't follow these rules and regulations, the sky will drop on my head or something terrible will happen. I'll lose all auspiciousness. Something of this nature. We will become intimidated if we don't follow. This is Vaidhi Bhakti. But fear, or bhakti prompted by fear, is not able to sustain itself because the Swarupa of the Jiva doesn't have that quality within it. The Swarupa of the Jiva is fearless. That fear only arises by material absorption. What's that? Bhayam, dvitiya viniveshitam syat isat vritasya viparya ushmiti. Tanmaya toyo buddha atacha bhaktyai guru devatma. This bhayam, fear, arises from material absorption. So that Vaidhi is something of a material path. It's the access to the spiritual path, that Vaidhi Bhakti. If we are guided sufficiently, if we have sufficient association of a Rasik Tattvavit Vaishnava or a Bhavuk Vaishnava, one who is in the stage of Bhav, who can guide us to that platform of Bhav Bhakti. So this is our path that we are following towards Bhav Bhakti. I said the other day that sadhana bhakti without a focus on Bhav Bhakti is like zero. What to speak of our attention on prema? We can't achieve prema in this birth, but we should still hear about it regularly and meditate on it. So the prema, this Vatsalya prema between Mother Yashoda and Krishna, is what is being displayed in this pastime most prominently. So now, what is the nature of prema? It must be escalating. This is the ecstasy of this astakam itself. It's filled with ecstatic movement. We're coming from the first verse, where the ingredients are laid out, so to speak. The Mangalacharyan is there presented, Namamishwaram Satchit Ananda Rupa, that we talk about the Tattva Vichar, this Satchit Ananda, the extraordinary potency of Krishna in that Tattva Vichar. But then immediately the next line, Lasat Kundalo, immediately we come into the earrings are swinging on the cheeks of Krishna. We come straight into the Leela. And the Leela is always the most powerful. So in this first verse, we're hearing the Leela in the last three lines. And in the second verse, Rudantam Muhur Netra Yugamijantam. Rudantam, Krishna is rubbing his eyes, Netra, his eyes, again and again. He's genuinely frightened. This is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So how can the devotee reconcile these two considerations of Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and Krishna, who is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Krishna himself is doing this. He is Sarva Gyan. Sarva means all, Gyan, all-knowing. And he's Mugdata simultaneously. Simultaneously, he's both. He's Krishna. He's totally immersed because of the prema of the Brijabasis, thinking this Madhya, thinking that Krishna is mine. Krishna is controlled by this fully. So in this second verse, he's rubbing his eyes again and again, and he's very fearful of that stick that Mother Yashoda is holding. Mother Yashoda, she discards that stick when she sees the fear in Krishna's eyes. She thinks he might be traumatized or something of this idea. And then the third verse, this Ananda Kunde, these pools of bliss that Krishna is drowning all the inhabitants of Braj in. This pastime, as I said previously, is including all of the entities of Braj. All of the entities of Braj are sympathetic to this part. It's not that they're off in some other place, some other forest. The atmosphere of this pastime, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead simultaneously. His atmosphere pervades all of Braj. So when Krishna is feeling stark fear at his angry mother, he's never seen his mother like this. She's not trying to pacify him in any way. And he's calling out for Mother Rohini. She's not coming. He's calling out for Dalbai. He's not coming. He's even calling out for his father. He's not coming. No one's coming to assist him. So he's shouting very loudly, and all the other gopis are coming. Krishna is feeling challenged by this, because this is heightening the exhibition of Vatsalya prema. Mother Yashoda, she is having to increase her effort, this chesta. She's increasing her efforts to bind him. So then in the fourth verse, which we discussed a couple of days ago, this Varam Deva Moksham, Now we come into the heart and consciousness of Satyabrat Muni himself. We come out of the Leela, so to speak, into the sadhak's vision. The sadhak now is proclaiming to Krishna that this pastime is not inspiring him to actually want moksha, not to want Navada Bhakti, not to want Vaikuntha Prem. He only wants to see the form of Balagopal in his heart again and again. This is such a beautiful prayer. This is the same prayer practically that we appreciate that so many other personalities previously in the Bhagavatam have proclaimed, like Prahlad, for example, was requested to make a boon from Nrsingadev. And ultimately, Prahlad just wanted to perform vandana, just prayers to Nrsingadev. We also have Vritrasura. He doesn't want anything also. He just wants to be aware of that Supreme Lord and to serve that Supreme Lord. Dhruva Maharaj, even though he had a desire originally for a benediction, once he saw Krishna, he thought it was like looking for broken glass previously. He didn't want any benediction after that. And I gave the example previously of Kolavecha Sridhar. He also didn't. Now, the dynamic, the ecstasy that Satyabrat Muni is going to share with us as sadhaks is culminating in this Astakam, where in this fifth verse, he's focusing on just the beautiful face of the Lord. So just to reflect on the translation, O Deva, your lotus-like face, encircled by soft, blackish, blue, curly locks of hair that have a reddish glow, is repeatedly kissed by the gopi Sri Yasoda. May your supremely charming lotus face, with lips like red bimba fruit, always remain manifest in my heart. I do not care about millions of other attainments. So this is the height. This is the dynamic of the ecstasy within this Damodarastakam. This consideration is not there mentioned in the Leela. In the Leela, we can only conjecture that these moods and feelings are there. But Satyabrat Muni brings it right out directly. He's directly saying, this is why every single Kartik month. And remember that in Kartik, if you do even one sesame seed of devotional service, if you do even one paisa extra, if you make any slight extra endeavor to acquire Krishna's mercy, you get 1,000 times benefit back this month, because it's Urja Brat. It's the month of Sri Radhika. And Radhika is that most compassionate person. And she wants to benedict all these sadhaks to their capacity, to their adhikar, as much as possible. So if we do anything in this month of Kartik, it makes a tremendous difference to the next 11 months of our year. So this Kartik is so important. So this Kartik month, we always chant this ecstatic Astakam. And we watch literally the ecstasies increase, because now we've gone from the fourth verse, where he was just wanting to see the form of Balagopal, to now wanting to see the beautiful face of Balagopal. It's increased. The intensity has increased, and it's going to continue to increase till the eighth verse. So this is the appreciation the sadhak has as the dynamic of this Astakam unfolding. So now this consideration of beauty is being brought to our attention. What is beauty? Now, I want to read directly from Jivadhamma, because we should all hear this description very beautifully presented by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So listen to this carefully. It's only brief, but it describes these 6 opulences of Bhagavan. And he says, now there is a natural relationship amongst these qualities of the body, anga, and limbs. because Krishna's beauty is being described. The question may arise, which of these qualities is Angi and which are Angas? You see in this map on the screen here, beauty is the principal Angi. Beauty is the principal attractive quality of Krishna. Krishna means all attractive. What is all attractive? It's his beauty. This is the principal Angi. Then the Angas, or the limbs, are fame, strength, and opulence. These are the next three. These are limbs. These are somewhat secondary to beauty. Beauty is the principal. So the beauty of this pastime is what Satyabrat Muni wants to see. He wants to see the beauty of Balagopal's face. He's had a spurti of this in his heart. Directly, he's seeing that. He's witnessed that, just like Dhruva Maharaj was standing in front of Krishna, and Krishna's splendorous beauty completely took away any thought of material desire that he had harbored. It's this beauty that captivates the consciousness. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes the Angi is that within which the Angas are included. So within the Angi are the Angas, which are the limbs. For example, a tree is Angi, and the leaves and branches are the Angas. The body is the Angi, and the feet and hands are the Angas. Therefore, the principal quality, Angi Guna, represents the body, and to that quality, all the other qualities, Anga Gunas, are arranged as its limbs. So this is a very helpful diagram we can see. Now, I want to discuss the next two just momentarily. Tarun, you can keep me informed of the timing. I think I've got about 10 minutes, something like that. Okay. So the Angi Guna, I'm reading now from, it's in page 293. It's chapter 12, I think. Chapter 13 of Jaivadhamma. The Angi Guni of Bhagavan's transcendental form is his resplendent beauty, Shri, and the three qualities, opulence, Aishwarya, strength, Vira, and fame, Yasha, are his Angas, limbs. The remaining two qualities, now appreciate this, knowledge, Gyan, and renunciation, Vairagya, are the effulgence of the quality of fame, because Gyan and Vairagya are only attributes of a quality. They're not direct qualities. You can get knowledge in a library. You can get renunciation is somewhat negative. I said this the other day also, but it's helpful to appreciate the nature, because the impersonal Brahman is made up of this Chit Shakti and the Vairagya. This is the nature of Brahman. It has no Sandini in it. The Brahman has no existence. It's the effulgence of Krishna. It doesn't have existence. It's like light, doesn't have a solid existence. But as soon as you have the Sandini Shakti, that means the supersoul. That means it has existence. But before the Sandini, it's just Chit. So the Brahman, its quality is Chit, just Chit Shakti, which is knowledge potency. And in that knowledge is mixed with renunciation. So these are impersonal qualities. Then they don't have to have a person who's knowledgeable to have knowledge. Whereas strength, you have to have a person who's strong. Famous, you have to have a person who's famous. Wealth, you have to have a person who's wealthy. And beauty, you have to have someone who's beautiful. But fame and renunciation don't have to have a personality behind it. So they're attributes, they're not direct qualities. Understand this beautiful explanation of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. It's very simple. He says, thus Gyan and Vairagya are actually Nirvikar Gyan, which is the intrinsic constitutional form of Nirvishesh Brahm. This is what I've just explained. And that Brahm is the bodily effulgence of the spiritual world. The changeless, inactive Nirvishesh Brahm, which exists without body, limbs, and so on, is not in itself a complete tattva. Rather, it depends on the transcendental form of Bhagavan. Brahm is therefore not a supreme vastu or entity that exists in its own right. It is a quality of a vastu. And the example is given also of fire. Fire is the source, and heat is the Shakti of the source. And then there's the effulgence coming from the source. The effulgence itself doesn't have a separate quality, a separate personal quality. The qualities are in the Shakti, in the heat, and in the source of the fire. So in a fire, we can break it down like that. So I always find this point fascinating to consider in the realm of beauty, which is what this verse is describing. It's describing the escalation has caused by the beauty of the face of Balagopal over his whole form. This is what is exciting the heart of Satyabrat Muni. So the sadhak is increasing his own bhav. He's increasing his own appreciation, sweetness for that Supreme Lord by hearing this fifth verse, that it's only the face that Satyabrat Muni wants to see now. And it's being kissed repeatedly. And this can be either Mother Yashoda kissing repeatedly, although it's Radhika who kisses even more times than Mother Yashoda. But we should also reflect that in Mahaprabhu's pastimes, who is our Bhajan Shiksha Guru, there is no description of Mahaprabhu kissing all the devotees. So don't go that Sahajya route and thinking that Mahaprabhu is having some type of external relationship with his parikars. Everything Mahaprabhu, this Rag Marg, this Bhav Bhakti, it's all internal. It's an internal awakening of the jiva's individual unique relationship with Krishna. It's not overt, it's not external. And if you have a particular epiphany or realization of these things, you don't have to broadcast it. Actually, if you hold it, then your treasure chest will fill up quickly. But if you broadcast it, my Gurudev used to describe like opening the door and all the camphor will go out. You'll lose that special sacredness of the appreciation. But this, for the sadhaks in the time of Mahaprabhu, in this time, because it's only by the mercy of Mahaprabhu that we're even talking about this. So our glorification of Mahaprabhu is extreme. It's beyond anything. The sadhak in this age, we only glorify Mahaprabhu, but he's not going to externalize these demonstrations as was done in Krishna's Leela by the relationship between Mother Yashoda and Krishna. Although it's interesting to reflect for a moment that Mother Sachi, she actually performs even more austerity than Mother Yashoda. Sachi Mata is even more demonstrative of her Vatsalya Prem. You'll remember the example that's described in the Chaitanya Bhagavat when Mahaprabhu, he comes home one day. Mahaprabhu's father has left, Jagannath Mishra. His brother has left, Vishwarup. Mahaprabhu, Nimai Pandit is looking after his mother, single widowed mother alone. He's about 14 years old at this time. He comes home. He asks his mother for a garland to offer his puja to the Ganga. She doesn't have it. What does Mahaprabhu do? He goes into a towering rage. This is all described by Vrindavan Das Thakur. And he starts to break everything in their little house. They only have a small, simple house close to the Ganga, all made of lightweight wood and so on. This is what the houses are like in Bengal. And he starts to break and smash everything. He picks up a stick and he's breaking all the shelves. He's breaking all the contents. Mother Sachi has all these little cloth bags filled with spices and herbs, etc. He's pulling them all off the shelves, smashing them all, breaking all the contents open of all the containers and so on. He breaks the whole house, practically pulls the doors off the hinges. Mother Sachi sees sitting terrified in a corner. She knows intuitively, my Nimai will never hit me, and Nimai knows this also. But he's demonstrating this powerful rage. Why? I'll tell you in a second when the pastime finishes. It's actually ultimately to demonstrate her absolute tolerance and patience. Mother Yashoda, she had to tolerate, she didn't tolerate Krishna breaking the yogurt pot. She actually bound him. But Mother Sachi, she sits and she tolerates this. And when Nimai has broken and smashed everything in the house, he runs out with his stick and he starts beating the tree in the courtyard. And then he starts beating the earth itself in the courtyard. And then he passes out and faints. And what does Sachi Mata do at that time? She immediately runs and gets a beautiful garland. And she brings the oil that he wanted also for his mustard oil, for his bathing. And she brings them. And she starts wiping all the dust from Nimai's face in a beautiful, absolutely submissive, loving mood. And then when Nimai regains consciousness, he feels a little shy. He realizes, and his mother's there. But she says, take the garland and worship Ganga, and take the oil and take your bath in the Ganga. She goes. He goes rather, and takes his bath. And when he returns, somehow or other, with the help of the neighbors and so on, they've kind of patched the house together to some degree. And Mother Sachi has even prepared his meal for when he returns from the Ganga. She lovingly sits him down, places a banana leaf on his plate on the floor, and gives him the rice, dal, and sabji, etc. She's lovingly prepared. At the same time, things are kind of stable. And then when he's finished his meal, then she says very quietly, "Oh, my darling son, you've just broken everything in the house. What will I do about this?" She waits until then, like the very end, after he's completely satisfied. And then what does Nimai do? He does something extraordinary. He just goes behind the house and produces a couple of gold coins, comes back and drops them in Mother Sachi's hand and says, "You go to the market and get anything that we need." Mother Sachi, she's overwhelmed. She doesn't know, but it's described very beautifully how she doesn't just go to one gold exchanger. She goes to many gold exchangers to get the best price. And she gets the best price for the gold that Nimai has given her. But she's very bewildered. How did my Nimai get this gold? I'm comparing these two personalities, Mother Yashoda and Sachimata, comparing the prem, the intense Vatsalya prem, and the way it exhibits, like this ferocious anger that Nimai Prabhu exhibited, is somewhat like Krishna's anger not allowing his mother to bind him. It's the same dynamic of increasing their Vatsalya prem. And this is only brought out by Satyabrat Muni. It's only if we didn't have this Astakam, if we just had the words of the 9th chapter of the 10th canto, which is in the Leela, and of course we have the commentators of the 10th canto, we have Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, etc., describing these parts. But this Astakam, it just enhances the whole Leela dramatically. So we've reached this 5th verse, which is so extraordinary. And there are many nectar points that my guru brings out in the second commentary on this. I've just spoken a little bit in reference to the first commentary of Satya Sanatan Goswami. And now Sripad Vaikanis Maharaj will bring out my Gurudev's commentary in the second part of this tika. So Satyabrat Muni ki jai. We are so grateful and thankful to Satyabrat Muni for having this inspiration to benedict us with this. We're so grateful for all our acharyas to giving such prominence and speciality to this, because Vatsalya Prem heralds the initial taste or appreciation of what is this full-blown Shringara or Madhurya Prem, this highest prem that we're going to hear about much more as the verses go by now, of the Gopis prem for Krishna. We begin with Dasya, then Sakya, now it's Vatsalya, very intensely presented. And then will come the Gopi prem, which is our Sadhya to follow in the Brajaramanis. This is our Sadhya to follow their prem. They have the highest prem, but still we are always walking up steps. Forever we will be walking up steps. However realized we are, however much prem we can attain at any time, it'll always be increasing. Krishna's prem himself is always going from, he's called Naveen Krishna, ever fresh. That means moment by moment by moment by moment by moment. It's never static, it's always ecstatic. Okay, I think I have to stop now. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhuvevacha patitanam papebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Sachibrahmuni ki jai, Damodarastakam ki jai. There was one small point that I was going to say, but I don't. How much time do we have? We don't have any time left. I
You're
can't
the
hear you.
boss, Mahar.
No, 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 no. Vaikanas Maharaj is. He's the. Where's I can't
You're
see.
the boss, Maharaj. You get to
No,
speak as long as you want.
Vaikanas Maharaj. He'll be jumping down my throat. Where is
No,
he?
no, 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 no,
There
no. You
he's there.
speak as you like.
Just one tiny little extra thing from Jaiva Dharma, which I always, again, find particularly inspiring in this consideration of escalation. So this is in the 22nd chapter of Jaiva Dharma. In my book, it's on page 507. It's talking about if prem is compared to the sun, bhav can be compared to the ray of the sun. And now he's describing three gradations of consideration. These are very interesting steps. He talks about Bhagavat Prapti Abhilas. This means the desire to serve Krishna. Oftentimes, I might be sitting in a group and I say to them, do you want to serve Krishna? Oh, yes, everyone puts their hands up. Do you want to serve Krishna favorably? Anukul Abhilas. Oh, yes, that's higher than just serving him favorably. Anukul Abhilas. And then finally, Sohard Abhilas, serving Krishna with great friendship. So these three steps are also chalked out by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhagavat Prapti Abhilas, Anukul Prapti Abhilas, and Sohad Prapti Abhilas. I just wanted to conclude with that one point, which I thought was very relevant in the verse of the mood of escalation. So, Vanchakalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhuvevacha, Patitanam Pavnebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo.
Jai. Thank you so much, Maharaj. So many beautiful points and elaborations on wonderful pastimes. Um, I can't remember if before I heard about if I have heard before about how Krishna is making plans with all his friends to steal all the butter. I'm sure I have, but maybe I didn't hear or didn't take in the fact that the butter is the prem of the elder gopis. So I was
They only want him to taste it. They want him to come and steal it. They're so happy when he does that.
beautiful. Thank you so much, Maharaj. We need you to go longer. We need more Qatar because there's not long left of Kartik. There's not long left. And then what will we do?
Do it all over again.
We'll have to do something. So now I will hand over to Shripad Vaikanas Maharaj to continue on.
Hey. Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitan Jaina Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha Yam Pravajantam Anupeta Apeta Krityam Rapayano Viraha Katara Ajuhava Putreti Tanmai Tayataravo Binedus Tam Sarvabhutam Hridayam Muni Manatusmi Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatam Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Abhatya Vihina Padara Lakshay Kiptastakamari Tarangamadye Kripa Maitvam Sharanam Prapana Vrinde Namaste Charanarvindam Tavevasmi najivami tvaya vina iti vigyaya radhe tvam nayanam charanandike vancha kalpa turibascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So we begin by offering our most humble obeisance unto the lotus feet of our beloved gurus, unto Sri Guru Pada Padma Nityalita Bhavishta, Om Vishnu Parasto Tarsat Sri Srimad Abhayacharnaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Raj Srila Prabhupada, and unto Sri Guru Pada Padma Nityalita Bhavishta, Om Vishnu Parasto Tarsat Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Raj, and to all of our exalted Rupanuga Guru Varga, and to the assembled Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis in this grand assembly. So, first of all, thanking Chaitanya Raj for his first part of this. He's recapped very nicely so that we can understand the progression of this verse and also the foundation. Because there are two considerations, right? We have the consideration from the angle of philosophical consideration, tattva vichar, and also the ras vichar, the consideration, what is the essential moods and emotional experiences of the devotees. And as Maharaj has indicated, in the beginning, we were hearing about the grandeur of the Lord, and now we're actually beginning to perceive Satyavrat Muni's evolution in emotional experience. And this is where this particular purport of Srila Gurudev, his Digdarshani Vriti, his explanation of Sanatana Goswami Pad's explanation, he really acquaints us with this. Really gives us a taste and appreciation of the emotional consideration. And this is actually this is perhaps his specialty, right? And he's going to explain, I'm just going to let it evolve and then bring this point out. So first of all, he again reiterates what Sanatana Goswami said and what Chaitanya Maharaj said, that Satyavrat Muni has been praying at different stages, right? I wanted to see your beautiful form, but now, more than that, I want to see the lotus face of that beautiful form. And what was that like? Gurudev brings out the point, uses the word avyakta. It's beyond the grasp of the material mind or material words. So, yikes, what does that mean for us? We're hearing these things. We have to appreciate that we can't grasp it, but we can approach it because these words are beautiful. The poetry is very beautiful. So what did he see in this darshan? He's getting this sporty, right? He saw this beautiful lotus face, right? Dark blue lotus-like face, circled by dark curls of hair, right? And they have a soft red glow. You ever known how sometimes people with dark hair will put very light streaks of henna in it? Or some people have that natural quality anyway, that the very dark hair under the sunlight, there's this like reddishness or orangeness in it. This is Krishna's hair, soft red glow. Um, uh, and that also illuminates his face. And it looks like bumblebees because his curls are falling from his face, but moving back and forth with the movements of his head, the movements of his eyes, the movements of the wind of Vrindavan, the breeze, which is always also trying to taste Krishna's fragrance and also assisting by making his hair wavy and thus making him even more beautiful to everyone else, right? So now something else. He's witnessing in his heart. First, he saw the earrings kissing his cheeks, kissing Krishna's cheeks. Now he's seeing Mother Jashoda kiss his cheeks. And that's stimulating him even more. I want to be like this. If you've ever read the what is the name of that book? Bhakti Rasayan. It's selected verses from Sanatana Goswami's Brihad Bhagavatamrita at the end that Srila Gurudev has taken out and lectured on. And he, in that, he speaks to the different moods of the devotees in different rasas, right? And in that, he kind of helps reveal their experiences, right? And in each explanation and description of these beautiful pastimes, different kinds of emotions are coming out, right? Are coming out. And it's not that we can experience it on that level, but by hearing them, it automatically awakens in the heart, in the receptive heart, a yearning for these things. In the very beginning of the Bhagavatam, because the Bhagavatam from the very beginning explains itself and what it's all about and what the process is. And so Dharma Projita Kaita Voltra Paramo Nirmat Saranam Satam, right? That the Bhagavatam is spotless, free from any material consideration. So none of these descriptions are material, right? And it can be understood and tasted by Nirmat Saranam Satam. Those Satam, those great personalities, are completely free of all envy, all material qualities. All right. And in the third line, Nirmat Saranam Satam, let's see, Dharma Projitakaitavotra Paramo Nirmat Satam Vedyam Vastavam Atra Vastu Shivadam Tapatrayon Mulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite Kim Paradishvaraha Sadyo Hridya Avarudyate Shakirti Bishu Shushabis Takshanat. That it's describing the reality of the spiritual realm, the truly abiding substance, the transcendental vastu, right? And the remarkable thing is that anyone who hears this, sadya hridyo avarudyate, especially the Namatsaranam Satams, when they hear it, what happens to them? Prem comes into their heart. But Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says something also. He says, not only them, but anybody who hears these descriptions, Krishna says, they're mine. I claim them. This is what he describes in his commentary. And he says they will also get prem. They may not be on this platform yet of Nirmat Saranam, but if they hear the Bhagavatam with attention and respect, even not fully, even a little interest, they'll get that. One day they'll get that prem. But if they're cultivating respect and honor and hearing, striving, oh, how much more? How much more? So this purport is a very good example of how Gurudev introduced us to such subject matter that would excite our eagerness, excite our respect. And he would teach us how to hear and how to yearn. Just like now he's saying, Satyavat Muni is praying specifically to see Krishna's beautiful lotus face, which he yearns to kiss. But he wonders, and we wonder like also, I want to achieve something so rare. Will this hope of mine ever be fulfilled? Right? Do you ever think like that? Probably think like that every day, right? If we have any exposure to these beautiful, if we allow ourselves to read and hear with honor and respect, the more we do that, like I'm listening right now to Jaiva Dharma, and now it's chapter 34, 35, descriptions of the different kinds of sakis, descriptions of Madhurya Ras. Today we are hearing descriptions of Udipan, that which stimulates love, right? And that Udipan can be stimulated by words in the mind or by seeing the form or exhibition of the pastimes of the Lord, right? So we can't directly see the form, but we can hear descriptions, right? And this will, in pure devotees, it stimulates the highest feelings. Satyavrat Muni right now, he's coming into that stage of bhav, right? As Sridhar Maharaj explained, Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma Prema Suryangso Samyabhak Uchibis Chittamasurnyo Krit Aso Bhava Uchite. That this Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma, this is the quality of bhakti. This is bhav bhakti, the quality of samvit, awakening. Who am I? What is my relationship with Krishna? And Ladini Shakti, the feelings and exchanges of loving sentiments, which give joy to Krishna and to the devotee. When this comes into the heart, and how does it come into the heart? It comes into the heart by the grace and mercy, the transmission from the heart of the pure devotee. And they give it to us by their harikatha, by their speaking, and sometimes by their well-wishing, by their desire to direct it. But then our heart will also become softened. And he said those three tastes, right? Bhagavat Prapti Abhilash, the desire to achieve Bhagavan, to be in that place where Bhagavan is, right? I want to be in Vrindavan, right? But Anukul Abhilash, I want to be there properly with the proper sentiments. I want to do everything favorable for the happiness of Krishna, right? And so hard, the topmost, so hard to get that, Abhilash, to do all this in intimate moods of affection and love. So at this point, Satyavrat Muni, we don't know what his ultimate destination is. He's in not a fully developed stage. In the Bhakti Rasayan, when he's describing, Gurudev describes different personalities, he says at one point, you're experiencing general bhav, general deep feelings of love, but it depends upon the pastimes that you're hearing or the pastimes that you're seeing. It's svacha, and whatever you're seeing or hearing about, oh, I want to be like that. I want to be like that. Oh, Mother Jashoda, how could you not want to be an associate, yearn to be with Mother Jashoda and to assist her when you hear these pastimes? Only a soul that's dead would not appreciate this. One thing that Gurudev says, that even Sanatana Goswami, when he cites verses about the cowherd boys, Mother Jashoda, and the gopis, and at each stage he's relishing all of those rasas. The gopis relish all of these rasas. They one time asked Srila Prabhupada, are you a cowherd boy, Srila Prabhupada? And he said, oh, I don't know, but I like cowherd boys. Sometimes he did say he was a cowherd boy. But again, as we're going to hear a little bit in a little bit, Guru will speak to the disciple according to their eligibility, right? And the gopis themselves, they also taste the moods and joy of the cowherd boys. In fact, in Jaiva Dharma, it's described that, the Sanchari Bhavs, the 33 transitory emotions, that for them, Sakya Ras is one of those Vyabhichari Bhavs, right? Generally, it's a Sthayi Bhav, but it's included, it's within the heart of those who have the mood of Madhurya, Shringar Ras, because that contains all the moods and all the services, and sometimes they can be fully absorbed in Sakya Ras, right? And in that kind of pastime and in that kind of service. And we know those Vyabhichari Bhavs are so powerful, they can rise up and completely submerge everything else for some time. So that's not inappropriate to consider how Radhika can dress up like a cowherd boy and wrestle with Krishna, tie up her cloth, slap her thighs, slap her arms, and be prepared to wrestle with Krishna, right? So right now, he's seeing that pastime in his heart. It's awakening that kind of desire. Will this hope ever be fulfilled? So Gurudev says, how will it be fulfilled? At first, by the power of sadhu sangha, an inclination to serve Krishna enters the heart. General inclination, right? Oh, this is our position. Remember when I first read Bhagavad Gita, the little blue one, abridged version? Yes, we should dovetail all our activities in the service of God. General, but very strong. And by that, anarthas are gradually driven away by performing bhajan in sadhu sangha. In other words, bhajan in sadhu sangha under the direction of sadhus, right? Ado shraddha tata sadhu sangata bhajana kriya, right? Under the direction of guru. So that inclination will continue to increase and one's consciousness will blossom more and more through these progressive stages. Yeah. When anarthas are sufficiently removed, then we move into this stage of nishta, whereby our intelligence is becoming impurified. Purified now will be able to control the restless mind and keep us engaged. And at some point, Shuddhanam will bloom on our tongue, and we will enter into the stage of ruchi, taste for Sri Nam and for the limbs of bhakti. And as that progresses, taste for the object of bhajan will evolve more and more into asakti, which is deep attachment. And that asakti becomes, when it matures, that's when a very special kind of specific mood will begin to show itself. How I want to serve and under who I want to be guided. Right? And we see this in Jaiva Dharma, the stories of Brajanath and Vijay Kumar. And Bhav, there are 5 stages of that, although there's innumerable micro stages, but then it matures and matures into finally Sampati Dasha, where we come into Prem. We talked about that yesterday. But then the Gurudev says this. He says, appreciate his writings and teaching so much. A profound concept must be considered regarding each soul's ultimate development of love of God. If the intrinsic and eternal inclination of a particular soul is to dedicate themselves to Sri Bhagavan in the mood of a servant, then that deepest inner hankering will only be fulfilled by that mode of service. And it won't go beyond that, right? So Sri Satyavat Muni's prayers, he says, reveal that his mood is destined to develop beyond Dasya Ras, right? He starts out in Dasya, but he's moving beyond that. And that's why this longing it's revealing that, right? And then Gurudev references Gopakumar, Sanatana Goswami's extraordinary, you could say his magnus opus, right? This incredible contribution to understanding the journey of the soul, right? And Gopakumar, even when he came to Vaikuntha, his inner hankering was not satisfied. It's not that he couldn't appreciate Lord Narayan. Even though his inner hankering was not satisfied, he was feeling some discontent. He describes, yet whenever I went before the Lord, I felt such joy that temporarily I would forget my dissatisfaction, right? But still, he was drawn further and further. Even he went to Dwarka and he couldn't be completely satisfied because his particular mood of Sakya Ras, right, and the way that he wanted to experience it in Vishrambena, Sakya Ras, right, Sakya Bhav, very intimate. And when he finally got to Goloka Vrindavan, that intimacy was fulfilled, right? So each tzaddik will relish the sweetness. Now, this is a very important paragraph. This startled me when I read it. Each tzaddik will relish the sweetness of Sri Krishna's pastimes according to his own relationship, sambandha with him, and also according to his qualification. Thus, in the description of Sri Krishna's lotus face being kissed again and again, Srila Sanatana Goswami explains the word Gopya can refer to either Mother Jashoda or Sri Radhika. So we're striving and relishing according to our relationship, but we haven't ourselves necessarily fully understood our relationship. We're seeing here, Satyavat Muni is going through different stages of relishing. His adhikar is taking him beyond this, but at each stage, he's able to understand and taste. Like the Palinda girls when they were in the Vrindavan forest. Even though this one Palinda girl was definitely destined to become a Saki of Srimati Radhika, it's described that when they saw Mother Yashoda, oh, I want to be like her. When they saw the cowherd boys, I want to be like them. And there's nothing wrong with that feeling of joy and attraction to that rasa. They're so splendid. It's only when you reach a certain stage in your bhajan that you become one-pointed and focused. As Vijay Kumar explains to Gopal Guru, finally he comes to say, "Oh, Prabhu, I only want to hear about the pastimes of Krishna and Radha. Nothing else satisfies me. I only want to hear that." Right? That's the maturation, right? But according to Adhikar, and there's two considerations. There's Adhikar in Vaidhi Bhakti and Adhikar in Bhav Bhakti. And Guru will instruct us according to our Adhikar at every stage. So this is important to realize that many of our gurus, they don't talk about some of the things that our Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami talked about. Because generally, it's understood that in this world, disciples are not eligible for the higher topics. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada is very careful, right? And yet, he still talked about the topmost pastimes, but he was careful to always stress adhikar and caution. Our Srila Prabhupada was very careful, and yet he presented Rasa Leela in his Krishna book and encouraged his disciples to hear about it. Right? When difficulty came, when they had lust or anxiety in their heart, read the Krishna book together. Right? But we don't misunderstand the fact that Srila Prabhupada, for most of his time with us in this world, he was stressing the basic tenets of Vaidhi Bhakti and over, you're not this body, how to do Nishta Bhakti, right? How to be very fixed and steady in that. He would allude to higher things time to time, but mostly speaking to the adhikar of his disciples. Doesn't mean that that's where we should stay forever. He stays in his purports, how we must strive to come to the Madhyam stage, and describing that in its different degrees, especially 22nd chapter of Madhya Lila, Chaitanya Charitamrita, describing that progression. So, Gurudev says the phenomena of relishing Sri Krishna's pastimes according to one's own mood, is illustrated in the following example. This is really sweet. And sometimes Mother Jashoda would see Krishna in the morning when she'd come to get him, wake him, see scratch marks on his arms. Where did all these scratch marks come from? Kundalata, standing nearby, heard this. Right? Kundalata is a Saki who's more inclined to Krishna, right? She's Sambhogi Chamai, and of course she has great affection for Radhika, but she's more inclined to Krishna. And she serves the rasa and relationship of Radha and Krishna in that mood, which lends very special sweetness. She plays a role. If you read Chamatkara Chandrika, you see some pastimes like that. Very, very wonderful. And she's like a maidservant in the house. And she has different roles. Sometimes she'll take the prasadam of Krishna to Radhika and others. Sometimes trying to break Radhika's mind, she'll assist Krishna. But she's standing nearby, and then she just says, "Oh, your son performs ras at night. These marks come from that." Now, ras, Leela, Gurudev is explaining, is the prominent pastime of conjugal love, or Madhurya ras. So how could Mother Jashoda be privy to this amorous pastime? So Gurudev says Mother Jashoda is simply inquiring, like an ordinary mother. How'd you get those scratches on your arms? Oh my goodness, what are you doing out there? And so she's thinking that these are coming from another source. What? Kundalati, you're saying that he's doing rasa? You know, she knows what that means. Dancing with girls in the forest at the night. My son's still breastfeeding. He's not, but she has that feeling. He doesn't have milk teeth. He can barely speak. You know, he talks in broken childish language. This mood comes up in her heart. This is my baby boy. What are you talking about, Ross? Even in this world, when children come into teenage age, parents don't want that to happen. They want to keep their children in childhood. And oh, they want them to date and do all these risky things that teenagers do. No. I'll tell you how he got these marks. He's playing with those wild cowherd friends of his, and while wrestling and chasing the cows, he's gotten these scratches. Thorny bushes chasing the cows, wrestling with those naughty boys, and he's so involved he doesn't even aware. That's where these marks are coming from. So Gurudev says that every devotee will hanker for a particular ras according to their mood, and they'll see and understand the same pastime through that lens of that mood. So Satyavrat Muni, his mood is becoming more elevated, and now he's seeing things in even a more beautiful way, right? Those cheeks that he formerly saw as Krishna's that naughty little boy being running from fear from his mother. Now he's seeing this pastime, and he's remembering Mother Yashoda kissing those cheeks with such love. This pastime is evoking a great sense of that kind of love. And he wants to do that. He wants to see that face, right? So in this prayer, Gurudev says, Satyavrat Muni is trying to awaken the bhav of one of Sri Krishna's eternal Ragatmika devotees, the Ragatmika Jana, right? And so Gurudev says, hearing these prayers, we should also think like that. Oh, these earrings can kiss Krishna's cheeks. I want to kiss Krishna's cheeks. If these earrings can do it, certainly I can do it. If Mother Jashoda can do this, could I possibly do this? Would I be able to kiss the face of this boy just like the fruit seller? The fruit seller got that. I want to have him sit on my lap and call me mother. She got that. And when she heard that, she gave up everything. And she was no longer seen in Mathura or Goloka Vrindavan. She achieved that destination. But who kisses Krishna's face the most? Srimati Radhika. And so it's going to progress to that. And then Gurudev explains that progression that Sridhani Maharaj has already explained in the beginning. So how do we get there? By performing intimate service and by acquiring Sri Bhagavan's mercy, one will gradually progress and a deep longing to perform service under the guidance of one of Sri Krishna's eternal associates, right? Tishtan Vrajay Tad Anuragi Jananugami, right? That verse from that 8th verse of the Upadesha Amrita. So he gives us a reinforcement here and a direction. He says, Krishna, the super soul, he's present in the core of everyone's heart. Guru is the external representative or manifestation of the super soul. We can't see the super soul in the heart. You read Chaitanya Charitamrita in the first chapter, talking about this Guru Tattva. So he comes externally in the form of the perfected soul. Well, there's my alarm. I set my alarm for 30 minutes. So let me check in with our masters here. So
Anayo.
do we have, how much time do I
Long
have?
as you, Maharaj.
I hope you're not asking me because, as I earlier expressed, Tridandi Maharaj is in charge. So
Okay,
10 minutes,
nobody's
Maharaj.
saying, okay, 10 minutes we will do. So whoops, thanks, wrong book. I lost my book when I came back here. Okay, here we go. So Guru is the representative of Krishna coming to connect us with him. That's how we see our Guru. Our Guru is Krishna's dear friend, whether he's a cowherd boy or a Saki or a mother in that mood. He's coming from Krishna in order to connect us. Gopakumar tells his own story that his guru Jayanta was sent, even though he's a cowherd boy, Radhika personally sent Jayanta to be with Gopakumar and give him guidance throughout his journey. Right? So Radhika is the ultimate guru. Whatever roster we have, we ultimately have to respect, honor, and pray to Srimati Radhika. And why wouldn't you want to? Everybody in Vrindavan loves Radhika. Rather, Jashoda and Chamatkara Chandrika says, oh, this girl, who's she packing the box, the presents for, is so endowed with qualities, all good qualities that exist in females are coming from her. And I love her as much as I love you. Because Radha and Krishna are one soul. If we want to please Krishna, who can help us more than Radhika? Right? And if we want to really please Krishna, we should want to please and assist, be allowed to assist Radhika. So he says they're there to help us connect. And what do? They supply the water of hearing, chanting, and remembering. That will nourish our relationship and remove the weeds and the thorny bushes of everything that stands in the way, right? Guru, sadhu means one who cuts. And they can praise us and inspire us by that, but if they're really merciful, they'll chastise us and show us our faults. And if we're sincere, we'll be so happy and grateful for that, because that's all external. That's the stuff we want to get rid of. And as soon as we get rid of that burden, those things that aparad, that prevent the affection from blooming in our heart, right? So we should pray for that. Srila Prabhupada tells that story when his Guru Maharaj chastised him when they were in a lecture, and one man bent over to Srila Prabhupada to ask him for explanation of what Saraswati Prabhupada was saying, because it was so high. And Srila Prabhupada began to instruct him, and Saraswati Prabhupada immediately stopped him and said, oh, you know everything so perfectly, you don't have to hear? And Srila Prabhupada, of course, stopped. But in years after, he would always refer to that incident and with a big smile on his face say, oh, my Guru Maharaj's chastisement was the perfection of my life. You know, when the very first time I met Srila Gurudev in person, Shamarani was introducing us, and she would always praise everyone she was introducing and tell all these wonderful, so-called wonderful qualities that we had. And I was extraordinarily embarrassed. And all I could think of was this one time, the one time I got to talk to Srila Prabhupada, and he chastised me. It's famous chastisement. It was recorded, and even to this day, devotees that were there remember it. I'd heard from a friend of mine who had gone to New Vrindavan, and this one devotee, he knew we were childhood friends, and he said, yeah, I was there that day. Da, da, da. Because it was for me, but it was also for everybody there. I came to realize and understand later. But when I received chastisement, I understood philosophically, okay, it's for my benefit, and I accepted it, but it was used as a bludgeon against me. Like so certain leaders were saying, oh, this shows how unqualified and unworthy you are. You're bogus. Unless you take full shelter of us, yeah, you'll never reach Prabhupada. Only through us can you reach Srila Prabhupada. And they continually smashed me and told me how Prabhupada never loved me. That's why he chastised me, right? And that affected me. And for years and years, I carried that burden around in my heart. And the first time I met Gurudev after she was saying that, all these things, Gurudev was smiling and saying, oh, I'm so happy to meet you. And I said, oh, actually, it's not true. I'm not a good devotee. The only time I got to talk with my Gurudev, he chastised me. So what kind of disciple am I? And Gurudev just turned to me and looked at me with such love and softness. And he said all that because he loves you. He loves you so much. And at that moment, I could understand that the Guru, Srila Gurudev, was there I could feel Srila Prabhupada there. And I could feel that Guru is one, that Gurudev has come to continue this connection, the connection with Srila Prabhupada and the connection with Krishna in the heart. That Guru knows the eternal constitutional mood of the soul, our eternal relationship, and he connects us. And he gives us what we need, whatever we need to push on this desire to perform bhakti. And even though we don't have time to do this, now in the next part of this purport, this is a long commentary, the Gurudev is going to do what Gurudev did so wonderfully in person, which he did so often. He begins to cite verses. Radhika, the Brahmara Gita. We heard about Uddhav Kari yesterday. Radhika, speaking like a maddened person in love, chastising the bumblebee. He gives verses about that. He speaks about her anger and her man towards Krishna in separation. And then he speaks about the 11th canto when the Navayogendras are instructing Nimi Maharaj, and he says that when saintly people who have firmly devoted themselves to serving Sri Bhagavan with deep love, constantly engage in kirtan of their most beloved names of Sri Krishna, when deep attachment, anuraga, rises in, then their hearts thoroughly melt and they become mad in love of God. They laugh and cry loudly. Agitated by love, they sing about their Lord in sweet voices. And just like madmen without a trace of shyness, they dance and sing, unaffected by the opinions of ordinary people. Right? And then verses from the Venu Gita, the gopis talking about the madness that stills in their heart from the flute song. And then he sings the song, Radhe Jayo Jayo Madhava Daite. Beautiful song. And then gives the translation. And then, Ha Devi Kaku Baragad Gadayadya Vacha Yache Nepata Bhuvi Dandavadud Patarti Asya Prasadam Abudasya Janasya Kutva Gandharvi Keni Jagane Gananam Videhi. Oh, Devi Gandharvika, I am suffering greatly. I have fallen at your feet, and I'm lying on the ground in front of you just like a stick. With a choked voice, I'm begging you, please be merciful to this fool and count me as one of your own. Rupa Goswami sings like this. And we want to be Tishtan Vrajay Tad Anuragi Jananugami. We're following our gurus. Prabhupada said we're Rupanugas. We follow him. We follow our Gurudev. We're following our line of succession to Rupa Goswami, who's speaking us and revealing the moods of Rupa Manjari and himself and all the eternal associates of Srimati Radhika, right? Anyway, there's so much more, but we'll have to stop here. Yeah. So many nice verses. Almost finished. We almost finished it. He just finishes up by saying two modes of meditation, Mantramaya Upasana and Sarasiki Upasana. We've heard this over and over. Chaitanya Maharaj is bringing that up, but Gurudev again, once again. And when you deliberately concentrate on a particular pastime while performing bhajan, a particular song, right? That's Mantramaya Upasana. That's what we're qualified to try right now. But when Sri Bhagavan's pastimes manifest in one's heart spontaneously, one after another, it's called Swarasiki Upasana. In the beginning of Bhav Bhakti, it's Mantramaya. But when we progress, when performing bhajan in Braj, only Swarasiki Upasana is present. In Braj, wherever the sadhak goes, he has spurtis, momentary visions of Sri Krishna's eternally new pastimes. And when I was reading that this morning, I thought, oh my God, this is what Gurudev, this is what Srila Prabhupada were like at every moment when they were there. We were with them there, but did we see that? Did we understand that? We saw them in this form, but we couldn't taste this. We couldn't understand it. But hearing this, Gurudev saying, this is what I am. This is what great devotees are. They behold new sporties everywhere. They look, they exclaim, oh, Sri Krishna performed this pastime here. He then beholds another sporty, and he performed another pastime over there. And an unbroken chain, Sri Krishna's pastimes are stirred up in his heart. Swarasi ki upasana. This is Raganuga or Lobamayi Bhakti. This is Parikram led by Sri Gurudev. Gurudev is in that mood. He is on Parikram and he's leading us. And he's leading us by his words, by his writings, by the memories of being with him. This is how we are going on our Manasi Parikram. So we'll stop here, offer obeisances to all the devotees, to our Gurudevs, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev, our Guru Varga, and to the organizers of this. Tridani Maharaj has been doing this for years now. He agreed to do this all alone, but now people have come to help him. And Tarun picking up the mantle of moderator. The other devotees have done that. It's really greatly appreciated. It's giving meaning to our life day after day, and it's almost over. There'll be only 5 more days of Katha. At first I thought, oh, this will never end. And now I'm thinking, oh no, it's almost over. Okay, so thank you very much. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
And Yashadari.
Yes,
Yashadari, the main organizer.
Yes, yes. Yeah, my mind went blank. At the most critical times, my mind goes blank about names. I can't even remember my own name sometimes. Anyway.
It's the story of my life. Were you, I had a question, but you might not want to answer, which was, what did Srila Prabhupada say to you?
Oh, it's too long a story. That's a half-hour story. It's really cool. It's painful and joyful at the same time. Embarrassing because, oh my God, I just got my own bus. I'd ascended to the highest platform of status that you could get in the Radha Damodar party, the king of book distributors and all of ISKCON. I was a general and I was so proud, And then in front of all of them and all the devotees of New Vrindavan and everywhere else, Srila Prabhupada chastised me. And I wanted to sink into the ground and be swallowed up. Of course, afterwards, everyone's coming up, Joy Prabhu, you got the mercy. Oh, Paul. I could tell the story one day, not now. It's too involved, but
Oh.
it's good. It's a good story. It's a good lesson, and it's relishable. I relish it now because I understand that Srila Prabhupada took the time to do this, in a very special way. It's nice, very
Mhm.
nice. And
We
save
look
me.
forward
I mean,
to that,
just
Maharaj.
cut an artist, help me understand Guru in a way that I had not understood. And actually, by that, allowed me to really appreciate Gurudev also in a way I might not have otherwise.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Looking
Okay,
forward to hearing the story, Maharaj.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. One
Yeah,
day.
you were wondering what we're gonna do after Kartik. We're gonna have
So he
story
can just
time. Story time with Sripad Vaikanas Maharaj
excellent.
Uh,
to help the
okay.
devotees get to bed earlier so they can wake up for Mangala Arati. And when I say
Right.
the devotees, I mean me.
Well,
Not
that's
saying
what
I'm
we
a
say.
devotee, just saying I need to wake up earlier.
Your morning program starts the night before,
That's it.
don't eat a lot at night and, get to rest early so you can get up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, ready to go. Okay. So we're going to, speaking of that, we're going to have our, Guru Puja pretty soon. All right.
I,
So Chinraj, what do we do? End us, say some words.
Chatamai is going to sing for us tonight.
yes.
Chatramai. Oh, from Oregon? Chatramai or Chatramai? The one from Oregon?
Chatamai, Chatamai, Chata.
Yeah, guys, it's such a teeny little picture. I couldn't see you. Yes, yes. Okay, sing away.
Jai Maharaj. All
Jai
glory
Jai.
to all of you and your wonderful kata and giving us insights into the descriptions of Damodarastakam. These descriptions help us so that when we're singing the Damodarastakam, we can sing with more abandon and more commitment. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for all of your.
We're going to have to charge off because we have our Guru Puja now. So
Okay,
I'm leaving. Okay.
that's okay.
All right.
Appreciate
Thank
your.
you.
Thank you.
Haribol.
So when you're ready, Diddy, you can sing.
All right.
Oh
Thank
wait, oh wait, before that, can you change your audio settings? Um, I'm gonna ask Nityananda to explain, because he explained to us very nicely,
you. Okay.
yesterday that Zoom is quite funny with audio settings, but there's a certain setting you can change. Okay, he's not coming on, so I will. Okay, so if you go to, are you on a computer or mobile?
I'm on mobile.
Okay. Uh, Nityananda, if you're available, uh, okay, so it's on the bottom bar, there's settings. Sorry, I'm just all the way to the right, the three dots.
Okay, audio settings.
Yes. And
Original
then,
sound musicians, yes?
yes, perfect.
That's it. Oh, this is
Great.
very useful information.
Yes, it was
Thank
new
you.
information for me a day or two ago, so that's why my directions weren't very good. But Nityananda has helped again. Okay, so
With the
when you're
mercy of,
ready,
with the mercy of all the listeners, I can do something nice to offer. All right, so here's the Sri Damodarastakam. Namamishvaram Sachinandarupam Rasat Kundalam Gokule Rajamana Yashoda Violukala Davamana Param Vistam Antyanta Dodutya Kopya Rudanta Muhu Mitra Yugmam Vijantam Kamoja Yugmena Satam Kanitam Uspasa Kampatri Kankakanta Sita Givam Damodaram Bhaktipadam Sarilapi Ananda Kunde Swagosham Nimajantam Akyapayantam Tadeya Shita Jeshu Bhaktijitatmam Puna Prematastam Sadaviti Bande Param Deva Moksham Na Moksham Davimha Na Chenya Vinde Ham Tvaresha Apiha Itam Te Papunata Gopala Palam Sada Manas Avirasyam Imandai Itam Te Mukam Mocham Achantamile Vitam Kundalai Snita Rakshisha Kopya Muhustrupitam binva ratadaram manasya vilastam alam lakshalavai. Namo Deva Damo Nananta Vishnu Prasida Prapatuka Jalapimatnam Vipaturisti Vistati Vitamatandu Graneshama Agnam Hi Akshi Krishna Vedamajo Badam Devayava Ayamuchito Bhakti Vajo Kuto Cha Tato Prema Bhaktin Svakame Prayascha Namo Namo Vesi Namo Darida Namaste Sudame Puraditame Tvadio Delayata Vishvashatame Namo Radikaya Tvadia Priyaya Namo Natalilaya Devaya Tutam Namo Radikaya Tvadia Priyaya Namo Radikaya Tvadia Priyaya Namo Radikaya Tvadia Priyaya Namo Natalilaya Devaya Tubhya Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Shri Shri Damodarastakam Ki Jai.
Jai, thank you so much for taking the time to come on and sing. Thank you so much. We greatly appreciate it. So beautiful and rounds up the program so nicely. So thank you so much. Vancha kalpa turubhyas cha kripa sindhu bhaeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Om Rindai Tulasi Devyai Priyai Keshavasya cha Krishna Bhakti Prada Devi Satya Vatya